So if at long last you've finished laughing at that last video on back scenes, I'll get on with this one. Hi, welcome back to Chadwick Model Railway. I'm Charlie. I thought I'd first mention the response to the video that I pushed out a couple of days ago regarding the back scene. The response was incredible, with I think 6,000 views in the first sort of 24 hours. And of course, it was people expressing their humour really more than anything else, because the way I tore it up and threw it away at the end, it was kind of quite funny. If you haven't seen it, I'd probably put a spoiler on it, but it is worth going back and having a look, and there may be a link here. But today I wanted to talk about the bigger aspect of my model railway and where I'm going to go from here. Now, the working space for my layout is in metric. It's 17 foot across, and I've got 11 foot wide, which takes you up to the edge of that cupboard. And if you're into metric, then it's 5.2 meters across by 3.35 meters wide. Hopefully you've seen my very first video, which was based upon Chadwick TMD. Now, Chadwick TMD, of which hopefully there'll be another card here, I built Chadwick TMD as a test bed really for getting into DCC and also computer control. And this is the first board here of Chadwick TMD that I'm now going to try and integrate into this layout. As you can see, there's a considerable difference in height, and clearly I'll have to cut the legs down and bring them in. And this whole hillside and this end panel will all have to go, to bring it into, so it all sweeps in together. We all have sleepless nights occasionally, and 2 nights ago I woke in the middle of the night and it occurred to me that the wiring on this layout was incompatible with the wiring on that side. I think someone put in a comment many months ago that then when they wire their track up with red and black cables, you put black to the back, which makes perfect sense then, and then you tend not to get into a pickle. And it occurred to me that this one here may have been, the original Chadwick TMD may have been wired with black to the front. As it happens, and it is by sheer luck, it is black to the back as well. So I don't have to try to figure out ways of integrating the electronics, but we are kind of good to go. But planning is everything, and I just kind of got lucky this time. So here is the left-hand board of Chadwick TMD, and it's all straightforward kind of thing. It was it's not the best piece of modelling I've ever done, but it got me into rekindling my interest in the hobby. So how do I now integrate it into the board here that the viaduct will sit upon? Well, there's nothing like a good diagram to explain things. So this area here is the existing board. This one here is where the viaduct will sit, and this part here is the old Chadwick. And this bit here, if I can explain that bit there, is the cupboard at the far end. So if the 2 tracks come off the Chadwick Parkway board, they come across the viaduct, and then somehow they have to get into Chadwick. Now, Chadwick has some return loops around, so a return loop around there, because it is just a very small tail chaser. And the line that comes around and does this is I need to link this line up with this with the lines that come off of here. So what I thought I would do is bring these 2 tracks, take a point, a left-hand point, through a through a single slip, and then connect this one up to there. And then these 2 lines will go onto the back of the old Chadwick, and then will form part of a fiddle yard. So the 2 tracks across the viaduct, and then to feed the front line of Chadwick, we'll come off the up line through a single slip so that we can run 2-way running and signal it accordingly onto the front of Chadwick, and then the other 2 lines will go behind Chadwick onto a smaller board, and that will become the fiddle yard. Now here's the view of the back of Chadwick, and if I remove this polystyrene hillside section, hopefully you can see that there are 3 lines here, which is the small fiddle yard to feed this layout. And then obviously in this area here is that return loop. And if I remove all this piece here, I can then sort out the run of those tracks. Here, and we're in front of this sort of cabinet here, as I thought of extending this out, and then this would become part of the fiddle yard. But the scary thing is, what I really want to do is, as the two tracks come around, I want to have one fiddle yard on one level, so let's say for the up lines, and then above that another fiddle yard for the down line. So I end up with kind of 6 tracks on 2 levels. So that's my next dilemma on how to sort of configure that. Of course, you could say that with the point motors not being suitable and the track layout not being suitable, and you know, using first radius points rather than second and thirds, that I ought to just scrap Chadwick TMD and build something a little more in keeping with Chadwick Parkway on the other side. Well, the truth is I've got too much invested on the underside of this board, and I'll try and show you. Well, here's the underside of just this board, and please don't forget there's another board very similar to this to go on the other end. And as you can see, with the complexity of the wiring, I've just got too much invested to start this again. But please don't think this is the sort of thing you need on your layout. It really isn't. If you're into DC, then most of this would never ever be required. And if you're into DCC, then all you need is really just the main bus wires, wherever they are, main bus wires going around to run with the power. So you don't need this level of complexity. I just can't turn my back on this and kind of rip it all out. This is hundreds of hours of work. So where does it take me from here now? So I need to cut the legs off of this board, bring it down to the right level so I know it's the same as the Chadwick on the other side. I can then figure out how to build the other board on which the lines come around from the viaduct, and when I've sorted those out, I can then actually get around to building the viaduct board, because I couldn't just build the board because I don't know where it's going. So I have to get the two sides right before I can sort of finalise where the viaduct's going. I'm really looking forward to the viaduct board. I'm looking at putting a lovely river through and some scenery and that kind of thing, because it's not just all about track and trains. I think that the hillside, the landscape and everything else is also vitally important. Later on today, I'm going to tackle the back scene, and hopefully that will go well. In the meantime, what I'd like you to do is please don't forget to subscribe to this channel, and I'm also trying to start another channel up in which I do model railway videos and try to encourage people to do their own videos, and you can see how I've done mine. So there is another channel, and there may well be a link up here to that channel, so please, if you would, go and subscribe to that. Unless of course you'd like me to produce those videos on this channel, if that makes sense. But I'm just aware that some people, really come to this channel just for the model railway side and not necessarily interested in the more technical aspects of putting these videos together. To that end, perhaps you'd like to leave a comment so that I would know your preference. If you've got any views on these, my future with these boards, on the fiddle yard at the back and how I can configure the two levels, then please leave a comment in the comments section, and we'll kind of see how that pans out. A little thanks, and really thank you so much for my subscribers. I think only a quarter of the people who view this channel have subscribed, so if you're one of those 3/4 that don't, please consider subscribing. It gives me more encouragement to produce the videos, and if you're one of my patrons, then thank you so much. It's with your donations each month that make producing these videos a little bit easier on the pocket. So in the meantime, I will mention I'm away now on some drone work for the next week, and then I've got another job after that, so it might be another fortnight until I can produce another video. So please bear with me on that. I am sorry, but I have another job, I suppose, besides producing these videos and enjoying myself. So in the meantime, please don't forget to subscribe. There's a link there if you'd like to become a patron, and there should be a video here and here. And I'll see you in a couple of weeks' time. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye-bye.